One-on-ones are the most important meetings that I'll have with my team in any given week. In this video, I'll show you why is it so. I'll also show you the 3 distinct periods of one-on-ones that you're going to go through with your team. And finally, I'll show you how I prepare for and structure all of my one-on-ones. This is something I really wish I knew when I started my leadership and management journey when I was 18. Instead, I had to go through this the hard way, through a lot of trial and error. Fortunately for you, you don't have to. So let's get into it. So why are one-on-ones so important? So the first part is that you're updated onto the tasks, performance of each one of your team members. So you know where they are, what they're doing, what their goals are for the week, for the month, and for the quarter. And you also know that they understand what they need to do. The second part is that you discuss any challenges or issues that the team member has. So you help them overcome them, talk through with them, and just make sure that everything is pretty much resolved and the team member knows what they should do or what their next action should be with these challenges. The third part is it sets up their week for success. You both establish clear goals for the week, and you also provide guidance for the week on what the team member needs to do. The fourth part, why the one-on-one meeting is so important, is the face-to-face meeting. It doesn't matter if it's virtually or if it's in a meeting room. The most important part is that you get to sit down and actually talk to each other one-on-one without anybody else being present there. So what does that do for you and the team member? It builds up your relationship. You're going to be talking not only about professional things, but also personal things, which is really good. It's going to provide a lot of rapport, banter between you two. You're going to start building that relationship into a higher level where both of you need to be so that each one of you individually are going to have success. But as a result, also, the team is going to be more successful for it. The other important thing about this is that you'll make sure that the person feels heard and listened to. So you're going to be listening to them and they're going to be telling you what their issues are, either personal or professional. So this is where it's a little bit up to you whether you want to go also into the personal level. My advice for you is always go into the personal level as well, because if they have personal issues, they're going to have usually professional issues, because personal issues always come on top and they're always more important to them than work and ergo professional ones. And if you can help them and guide them through their personal issues, they're going to be better at work as well. This is what I always do. I always make sure that each and every one-on-one that I have with each one of my team members, they can always come talk to me about their personal struggles, personal issues. At one point, I talked with one of my team members about how to do their car insurance because they didn't know how to do it and they were really frustrated. So as a result, that team member couldn't perform that well. I helped them. And so next week, they were a lot better with their performance. And the last thing why you do the one-on-one meetings is also you show them that you care. You don't care only about the performance that they're doing in their job, but you also care about them. In your one-on-one journey with each one of your team members, you're going to go through 3 distinct periods. The first period is going to be the beginning period, and it's going to last probably up until the 3-month time frame, give or take. What's going to happen is you will want to have longer meetings. So between 45 minutes to an hour long meetings, you're going to be building a relationship. And you're going to be trying and establishing a routine for these meetings. This is why I want to reserve a longer time period for these meetings, so 45 minutes to an hour, that you don't feel rushed, that the team member doesn't feel that they're rushed, that this is just a formality. So this happened to me specifically for my bosses because they thought that 30 minutes is going to be enough. But at the beginning, it wasn't enough. We always went over and we had like 45 minutes to 1 hour calls, and we're always late to other things. So in the end, we just switched it to 45 minutes. The second period is the established period. So this starts after 3+ months, give or take, depending on the situation that you're in, that your team members are in. This is where everything becomes a routine. Everything is working great. It's like you're a well-oiled machine, you and your team members, on all of your one-on-ones. And here, your meetings are going to last up to 30 minutes. And this is where you want to be. And this is what you really want to do up until you finish and you get either promoted or go somewhere else to a different team. The third period is the one you never want to get into. And I call it, do we have to do this? So the way you get into this period is everything is going great. The one-on-ones are amazing. The team is doing great. And then what happens is all of a sudden you miss one meeting. Hmm. And you say, hey, it's fine. Like, we have so much other things to do. We have so many more projects. We don't need to meet this week. E- Everything, both of us are doing great. Yeah, we don't need to meet this week. And then maybe you meet the next week, and then you figure out, hey, I'm going to do it once every 2 weeks. And then you miss those meetings. And eventually the meetings become sporadic and pretty much erratic. And what happens then is the relationship with each one of your team members starts to deteriorate. You have you don't know what they're doing as much as you did, and they don't know what you're doing. And what happens then is you're not connected with each one of your team members anymore. You grow a little bit of apart. Everybody's doing their own thing. They're not asking you for as much guidance because they already know what they're doing. And in the end, you don't know what they're doing. And it kind of all slowly starts falling apart. What's important about this period is you need to be aware that it can happen, and you really need to prevent this. Because remember, your one-on-one meetings are the most important meetings of the whole week. Make sure that if you have to cancel every other meeting to get to the one-on-one meetings, do that. Don't cancel your one-on-ones, because you're going to start suffering in the long run. Even though maybe in the short term, it may provide you with some more time to do other things. But in the long run, you're going to be hurting yourself and, most importantly, your team. So now let's talk about the preparation. And for this, I'm going to show it to you on my laptop.
Okay, so for the meeting notes for my one-on-ones, the easiest and most time and admin effective way that I found is just to use Google Docs. The way I do it is I put in my first name, the person's first name, and one-on-one so that I can actually find it. And then what I do is I put at the date. And so since I always have my one-on-ones on Mondays, I'm going to put this as the 2nd of December. And that means that the next one-on-one meeting is going to be on December 2nd. And then what I do is I put in my name, usually bolded so that it's easier to see. And then I just put bullet points here. So I have question 1. So, and then I would say I want the progress report. What do we need to do? And let's say, okay, so this person has a project, so that it's a really important project. And I'm gonna look at, what's the progress, what are the deadlines, any issues. And I'm gonna be doing this until I'm pretty much satisfied that all of the topics that I want to discuss are covered. And the other person is pretty much going to do the same, right? So usually I'm going to be the one that's going to be speaking second. So that person is going to be having their notes here. And then let's say she's going to do the same thing, right? So she's going to have question 1 for her, update 1, update 2, update 3, right? So it really depends on the week, the month, or the quarter that we're in, and depending on what kind of projects do we have. And the way I also do it is so I've actually started this note. So today is the 27th, and let's say the meeting is on December 2nd. Most of the time, I'm going to be the second person to talk. I want the other person to update me on everything that's going on with them, what they think is important, and then I'm going to go. If they cover all of the questions or issues that I have, then that's fine. We've saved time and we can talk about something else. Other than that, that's pretty much the whole thing. And I'm pretty much okay with any format that the person uses. So as you can see, I like to use just the bullet point format so that I can remember it. I'm going to be able to talk through it with the person. Some people I've seen, they actually put in full sentences or even paragraphs. I'm completely okay with this. Usually I will tell the other person not to, use more than 1 or 2 pages per week, because I will not read this and I just like to have a conversation. The other thing that I actually don't allow is that another person actually writes something in for me, kind of like, what do we need to do? And let's say Jane here would be saying, we need to do this, right? Because what happens is, if I only have, let's say, 1 to 2 people, then I know that I didn't write this here and probably Jane did. If I have 8, 9, or even more people that I have one-on-ones, and that's actually happened before, and a person puts in this note, I will not remember it, that I didn't put it here. And when it comes to the meeting, it's going to be like, what's this? Or what is this? Why is this comment here? I can't remember it. And then the other person needs to tell me pretty much, oh no, I put it here. And it just messes things up. Buyer Jane wants to answer a question that is already pre-prepared, and we want to answer it within our own space. What she's going to do here is pretty much do this. So this way I'll know that she actually, these are her words and not mine, and I won't be confused. And yeah, pretty much that's it. And then when we have the meeting, we need to do this. And let's say in this case, it's up to me that I need to push something or get some resources. So I'm going to be putting in me. That's how I know that it's my task until the specific date. And I'm going to have a deadline of, let's say, 29th. Cool. And that's pretty much it. Who the person is, what the deadline is. And we pretty much repeat all of this for the other meeting. And the way I do this is like this. I put in at another date, and then so the next meeting is on the 9th. Perfect. And then we have, again, I tend to just copy paste this and then just delete all of this, unless, let's say, okay, we need to do this. I'm going to leave this question and then see, okay, so I've done this. This is done. Okay, what are the next steps? This is the way I use my one-on-ones. From experience of leading many teams from 4 people to 120, this is by far the easiest, the least invasive for both parties, and the most effective one that prevents overcomplications and prevents too much admin time with us filling up unnecessary documents that just satisfies, I honestly don't know who, definitely not me.
If you want to nail one meeting, nail this one. It's by far the most important meeting that you're going to have throughout your whole week. It's even more important than the team meetings you're going to have with your team, which we're going to be covering in the next video. I can't overstate how important the one-on-ones are. You're going to be building the relationship and rapport with each one of your team members. And this relationship and rapport are going to stay there even after you've moved on and either you're leading a different team or you left the company. Those relationships are going to stay on. And these people are going to become a part of your network who are going to be willing to help you in one form or another if you ask them. This is how strong these one-on-ones can be if you perform them right and you use them right so that they're beneficial for you and each and every one of your member of your team.